Hello friends, it's Kristine Vicente with Queen City Stamp Art, and I'm back today with another clean and simple card. This time we're going to be using the Ringed with Nature bundle, and we will not be using the designer series paper that coordinates with this, but we are going to be using the stamp set and a couple of the dies from the die cutting. We also won't be using the hybrid embossing folder. Now, if you caught my video from Friday on the Sale-A-Bration Freebie, I've been showcasing a Sale-A-Bration item every Friday on my YouTube channel, and this past Friday we did the Rings of Love 12 by 12 designer series paper. This is gorgeous paper that coordinates beautifully with this Ringed with Nature bundle, and this bundle has 3 components to it, so it's not just a stamp set and coordinating dies. They throw in an embossing folder for a very similar price point to a normal bundle. So this is $53 for these 3 items, which is a normal bundle price. And not only do you get these 3 items, but because you spend the $53, you get the free, you could choose this paper as your freebie during Sale-A-Bration if you're ordering this during July or August 2022. So if you decide you want to purchase this, I do have a new host code up for August, for the whole month of August, so you can jot that down along with my shopping link, and I appreciate your business. So let's get into the card. We're going to be making a real cute, clean and simple card. I showcased on Friday in that last video I mentioned, which I will link in the description of this video. I made a bunch of cards, so you'd get to see a whole bunch of cards made with this stamp set and the bundled products. Today we're going to be making a very clean and simple version of one of those cards. And we're starting with a card base in Sahara Sand. We're going to be creating a little stump using crumb cake. And this is a little anchor piece that I embossed with the Timber 3D embossing folder. It's just a little strip for the bottom of the card to kind of anchor the design. We're also going to be using Garden Green, Soft Suede, and Poppy Parade ink pads. And we're going to get right into the card making. So because this stamp set is photopolymer, I'm going to bring my my Stampin' Pierce mat in to do some of the stamping. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of stamping here. So I'm going to just kind of set these pieces out, and we'll do some of that right now. So we're going to start with Soft Suede. And I have the little ringed, the wood ring image, the little stump, and we're going to create this by stamping this onto a panel of crumb cake cardstock. So we're using Soft Suede ink and crumb cake cardstock. And then we're going to bring in the, we're also going to need the Soft Suede for the mushrooms that we're doing. So I'm going to ink up the stems for the mushrooms and stamp those on the white. Then we're going to move on to the green. Oh, I think I'm going to use this for the sentiment too. So we'll do Soft Suede for the sentiment. And I'm making a Get Well card. And now we can move on to the Garden Green. Just going to move this out of the way and move this out, and we're all set with this. And now we're going to use some of the Garden Green. So what we're going to do is stamp a couple of cute little greenery pieces onto the card. And I'm just going to use the stamp, the stump stamp, as a little bit of a guide for where I want to put these. That's probably good. And then I'm going to ink up another one because I just want a little bit of greenery in the background of what I'm stamping, like that. So that should work. And then we're going to go ahead and use the Poppy Parade ink to do the mushroom caps. And I'm just going to kind of line these up, which is the nice thing about the photopolymer. There we go. And then I'll close this so we don't get our fingers in it. Alrighty, so for this card, we're going to need a couple of die cut pieces. So the first thing we're going to do is bring in the little mini die cutting machine, and we are going to die cut these little pieces. So we're going to put, I'm using one of the little notch detail dies, and I'm just going to place it over top of this cute little ringed stump that I'm creating. Now this, I don't know actually if these go together. This does line up pretty well, so I'm assuming it would work, but it just gives a nice, the little notches are a nice little detail. I'm also die cutting one of the little stem sprigs, like a branch sprig, out of the crumb cake ink, and we're going to layer that up on a piece that I already die cut using garden green. So I'm just going to get this through here. That out of the way, and now we've got a couple of nice pieces here that we can use. So now I have the die cut and I have this little ringed piece, and it doesn't line up perfectly, but it's really cute, and I think it adds a little extra detail to it, to the die cut. So I really like it. So now we're going to bring in the green stem. I had dropped it on the floor. So here it is. So now we're going to layer these two pieces up. So I'm going to use my silicone mat over here. I'm going to bring this in because I don't have my liquid glue handy. Liquid glue would be perfect for this. This little technique, but I'm going to just use my tape runner. I just don't want it all over the surface of my desk. So what I'm going to do here, if you can see, is trim off the leaves on the piece that I cut out of the crumb cake cardstock. So I'm trimming the leaves off so that all that's left is the branch. And then I'm going to add some adhesive to the branch, the back of it, very carefully. And when I do it on my silicone mat, the adhesive only sticks to the die. It doesn't stick to the mat itself, so it keeps things cleaner. And then I'm going to add this piece to the branch that I die cut out of the green. Just like that. And now what we have is this beautiful two-tone die cut that has a wood branch and some green leaves, which I really, really like. And now we're going to also pull in that little piece that we die cut, this little trunk, and we're going to glue these together. And so I want this to kind of lay like this on the card, and I want the branch to kind of be in between the other greenery that I stamped. So I'm going to glue it right about here. So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back and then stick the branch right in the adhesive like this. And now it's ready to be added to my card front. So before we do that, I want to add this little strip of Poppy Parade that I embossed with the 3D Timber embossing folder. This little strip will act as a little platform or an anchor for my design, so it doesn't look like it's just kind of floating out there in space. And now we can take our dimensional adhesive and add this piece. So this is a real bottom weighted design. I like to do that sometimes. I feel like it's very pleasing to the eye to have the images that you're, like the focal image on your card at the bottom of the card. These little release papers are tough sometimes to get off. There we go. And now we're just going to layer this on right here in between the other greenery and over that little red piece. There we go, just like that. And then we're going to fussy cut the mushrooms out. So I'm just going to take my scissors here and we're just going to go all the way around the edges of the mushrooms. These are really simple to cut out. The shapes are very smooth and very easy to work around. And although the die set does have a little set of detail mushrooms that you could die cut out, I actually really like the stamped version too, so I'm just going to go with this. And you'll notice I'm really more moving my cardstock than I am my scissors. I'm kind of holding my scissors still and just moving the cardstock around. It's the easiest way to kind of fussy cut around shapes, especially when there's a lot of different angles. Alrighty, and now we have our little mushrooms. So we can use our little sentiment here, and I'm going to trim the edge of my sentiment off at an angle as well. And I probably don't need that much sticking out, so I'm just going to trim some of that off. And now we can finish adding this to the card. So we're going to add some dimensionals to this. Alrighty. Oh boy, got a fire truck blasting through the neighborhood. Yep, on its way to the apartments, I think. Okay, and then we're just gonna kind of lay the mushrooms here on top of the stump. And then this little piece, we're just gonna need to support the end. So I'm gonna put one little mini dimensional on the end of this sentiment strip. And then I'm gonna put a little tape runner toward the beginning just to make sure it stays where it belongs. And then we'll layer this onto the card kind of high up in the design. Just want to make sure it's straight. There we go, just like that. And now to embellish this card, we're going to add a little linen thread bow. I feel like this linen thread is a great texture for any kind of botanical or natural themed card design. It just adds just the right amount of texture and interest. And I'm going to need a little glue dot here. And then to finish this design, I'm just going to trim a little bit more of this off. And then to finish this, we're going to bring in these beautiful solid faceted gems. And I'm going to add a couple of these in the pink tone, just to add another color to the design. I really like these. I think they're so pretty. They have such a nice little sparkle to them when you ship the card. And then I think the last thing I'm going to do on this one, and I often will do this when whenever there's a circular element, sometimes I like to round the top corner of the card. So I think I'll do that in this case. I'm going to use my crocodile and just curve the corner of the top corner of this card. I really like the way that looks in terms of card design. And this is a very clean and simple card. You know, it's bottom weighted to that bottom right corner. There's not a lot going on it. There's a lot of empty space, but I think it's really pretty, and I do like the way this came out. Now the bumped up version of this is the one I made on Friday, and this one is lovely too, of course. It has that gorgeous free designer series paper that you can get. The focal panel is anchored on this strip of evergreen, evening evergreen, and you got the same mushrooms and basically the same layout, just slightly different color scheme, and just a little bit more going on. So I hope you really enjoy both versions of this card. And as I said, the host code for August is open if you need to do any shopping. I appreciate it. And I will see you next week with some additional card ideas. Thanks for watching.